Yo guys, what is good? Welcome back to the Uncle Sharma channel. New mic settings we have upgraded. We have gone for what's supposed to be not quite top of the range, but one of the goats when it comes to mics, especially for podcast and YouTube. The Shure MV7. So hopefully, I haven't tested it out yet. This is my first test, so hopefully, I sound nice and crispy. I've also upgraded my little chair here. I work from home, so I needed to upgrade my little office. So I'm doing little upgrades, and at some point, I'll probably upgrade my webcam as well to give you guys nice visuals. But thank you to the people that make this possible, which is you guys that watch, subscribe, like, comment, which all helps. But most of all, channel members, your contributions help things like this happen because otherwise it wouldn't. Because having small YouTube channels is not lucrative at all with the costs of StreamYard and these kind of things. It really, you really don't make much money at all. We do this for the love of the game. Ask Anthony from Inter Worldwide. But anyway, let's get into today's topic, which is obviously Empoli versus Inter tomorrow. But before that, we had some interesting news come out yesterday because Inter released their shareholders statement yesterday for the financial year, and we had a few little interesting things come out from that, which is the my thumbnail is about, retirement FC. And of course, if you haven't heard, within it was quite a sneaky way within the actual financial statement Inter released, they in there they announced the renewals of the triple renewal of Acerbi, Darmian, and Henrik Mkhitaryan. The Barella one we knew. The Mkhitaryan one, I feel like we already knew. Also, I think there was already thought there was already like an option for 2026 or something along those lines. But the surprising ones were the Darmian. But again, with Darmian, I feel like every year we've been renewing his contract pretty much, so that's not surprising either. The real surprise one is the Acerbi one. But even then, if you think back to last year when the whole Juan Jesus saga happened, there was already rumors or some reports that Inter were looking to extend his contract to 2026, and then after all that debacle happened, I guess PR reasons that just kind of faded away. But I guess that this happened in the background anyway, but it just wasn't announced, which is quite surprising because usually Inter do announce all the contract renewals. And there's also a safety element to these renewals where Inter have the ability to cancel all three of their contracts by paying them compensation fees next summer if they don't want to continue on. So yeah, as I said, all of them renewed until 2026, and then Barella's obviously 2029. Yeah, and it says Acerbi, Darmian, twilight of their career, especially the 36-year-old. He's ahead of De Vrij in the pecking order. We know that for sure. Therefore, the Dutchman's future at Inter is also in the air. So yeah, this kind of points to Acerbi because De Vrij's contract's not been renewed yet. His contract expires at the end of the season. So there's always been either one or the other. And we know that Acerbi is the superior centre back at this stage of their careers, even though De Vrij is younger. So it looks like the choice might be made. It's Acerbi over De Vrij. As for Darmian, yeah, we know he's Inzaghi's favorite right wing back ahead of Dumfries. But hopefully, I mean, I said this last year as well. Hopefully, this is the sign that the renewal is for him to become the right centre back, backup right centre back, rather than remain as the right wing back still in 2024, 25, 26. But we'll see. And then obviously Mkhitaryan has gone from strength to strength since swapping Roma for the Nerazzurri. Has recently rediscovered his form. He had a bad start to the season, which he admitted himself, but scored a beautiful goal against Juventus. But there's still question marks hanging over his head. Zielinski was supposed to be the Mkhitaryan replacement, but we always knew it wasn't going to be easy for Zielinski to displace him, and it hasn't been. So that's that. Yes, retirement FC. I'm sure a lot of you guys were unhappy to hear this news. But as I said, not really surprising. The surprise one is the ACERBI one, but again, there were reports of that already. The coach that we have, guys, the management that we have, not Oak Tree. Oak Tree probably wouldn't want this, but this has been agreed. It's not forced upon Inzaghi. I'm sure Inzaghi is happy with this. It gives them time if they want to replace these guys, want to phase out these guys. It gives them the control. If they want to, cancel their contracts, they pay some small, I think it's like 500k fees to do that. So I think it makes sense. As much as you guys might dislike it, and we want younger players in, but at the same time we moan about the young players that we have in the team. So mixed messages from Interisti, but that's what's happening. And then there was also other little bits and bobs we got from the financial statement. Here there's a report from Gazzetta talking about how, over the last few years, Inter's debt, this is probably talking about the short-term debt, that's been whittled down from 246 to minus 36. But we still have the Oak Tree recently had injected 47 million capital into Inter, which is a really good sign that they didn't ask Ausilio and Marotta to do this, to get these capital gains via the Mercato. They actually put money in. But the issue is that bond that remains since Eric Tohir's time at Inter, which is now 415 million. We'll see what we have to do that. But that bond costs us every year around 30 million euros. But in general, things are looking on the up. We may, in the next year, even end up making, having a parity, as in, breaking even in the financial statement, which hasn't been done for a long time at Inter. I don't even remember when the last time was. And then Marotta, the new president, of course, said a few positive things around, he's quite confident about the future under Oak Tree. They represent the guarantee for the future. Being a president as honor also carries a sense of responsibility, like, previous presidents like Facchetti, Moratti, etc. And then outline what Inter won this campaign. The objectives, as we know, are compete at the highest level in Italy and in Europe, restore the club's finances, and then again reiterated work on the new stadium project and strengthen the training facilities. There was actually an interesting quote from Marotta that says Oak Tree want to improve Inter's training facilities, which Suning did improve when they first came to Inter. Conte demanded a few things and they made them happen, but then again now they probably need refurbishing, and it looks like there might be some projects on the way soon for that, which is good to hear for the long term at Inter. And then we'll see if they're actually how long they're gonna hold on to Inter, if they're gonna invest more in Inter. Doubt it. I just hope it's not a AC Milan like project where we're buying a lot of young players, maximum 20 to 25 million price. They make profits, yes, on the books, but not as competitive as they could be. That's definitely not what I would want to see. Let's see what Oak Tree cook up. Anyway, let's get into tomorrow's game. Empoli Inter. Remember, guys, it's a weird kickoff time, 5:30 p.m. UK time kickoff. Make sure you remember that, whatever time that is for your time zone. The 10th position team facing the second team in the table in Inter. Big contrast, as you can see, in terms of 0.78 goals per match for Empoli, 2.33 for Inter. But look at the difference. Look at the difference in goals conceded, guys. This is what Inter have to improve on at the moment. Almost half, pretty much exactly half goals conceded per match from Empoli compared to Inter, which is really, really embarrassing. They are an absolute resolute team, this Empoli team this season. D'Aversa, former Parma coach, former Lecce coach, has them coached to perfection when it comes to defensive side of things. They've had a really, really good start to the season, so we cannot underestimate this team. And even last year, if you guys remember, it was a very, very difficult game, and it was only thanks to this amazing, amazing goal, one of the goals of the season from Fede Di Marco, from about 30 yards out, volley, from a rebound coming from a corner. What a goal that was. And without that, that would have finished 0-0. and it might take something special again to break down this resolute Empoli defense tomorrow. Quite a few interesting little players on that team. If we look at their predicted lineup for tomorrow at the back, Davis Vasquez on loan from Milan actually has been one of the best goalkeepers in the league. Really, really good performances. Very imposing goalkeeper. Viti has finally starting to show his potential that he showed a few years ago. We were linked with him, if you guys remember, a few years back, left-footed centre-back. Ismaili is the link with Juventus even now at the moment because his contract is expiring. I wouldn't be surprised if Inter link with him if he ends up running his contract out. Probably one of the centre-backs of the season. I think I put him in my team of the season until now. Gochlichidze, another up-and-coming Georgian young centre-back, very, very good. He's in my fantasy team, has been very good. And then obviously we know other players, better-known players, Fazzini, one of the best up-and-coming young Italians. Jazi in this wing-back role, but gets up and down quite a lot. Colombo on loan from Milan as well. Interesting, young, powerful Italian striker. The guy that's missing, though, is our ex of the game, Sebastiano Esposito. I did still make some time to make this little quick slide about him because he has been having a good season up until now. He's had a few Player of the Match awards, scored 2 goals, and in general has been working his ass off in this very hard-working system, in this 3-5-2, 3-4-3 system that Empoli play. Started most of their games this season 6 out of 8, getting nice minutes, getting nice performances. This is exactly what a loan should be doing. Finally, Esposito putting his head down, and finally a team that's putting trust in him, which is what we wanted to see. Whether he's ready to come back to Inter and become backup, he's definitely closer to getting to that stage now, finally, thanks to these regular minutes. Good to see. But looks like tomorrow he won't be there. Solbakken will be there, who's a more of a winger, fast player. So we got to watch out on the counterattacks. But in general, on an individual level, nothing special. I'm surprised that Anjorin is not in the starting lineup. He has been very good for Empoli. He's on loan from Chelsea, if I remember correctly. Quite powerful ball carrier. Has been impressive in the last few games. So, yeah. This is going to be a difficult game. But this is the team predicted to play this difficult team tomorrow. Bisek returning to the starting lineup ahead of Pavard, who will be rested. What do you think, guys? Think about that. I feel like we could have continued with Pavard, who also got a rest towards the end of the Juve game. De Vrij obviously has to continue. Bastoni obviously has to continue. Di Marco obviously has to continue at the moment. But Buchanan is on the bench. I wonder if he gets any minutes. In midfield, this is where Aslani, again, it's such a shame for Aslani in terms of, he is the vice Hakan. Hakan barely ever gets injured. The one time he gets injured, the one time where Aslani is going to get regular minutes, starting with the starter team, not with, when we rotate and he has to start with the, Frattesi and all the B team. He would have started with the starters, and now he's got this slight injury that still seems to be not making him able to run properly, which, as Inzaghi said, he's still feeling discomfort and pain, which means Zielinski continues, and it looks like he's continuing as a regista, which, similar to if you watch my post-match reaction to the Juve game, yes, Zielinski can play that role. Yes, he actually did pretty decent. I mean, we know he's got a beautiful left foot and right foot. Technically, passing-wise, he's fine, but defensively, he was awful against Juve. I don't understand why we can't just continue playing Barella in that role and then have Zielinski, who, in my mind, is debatable because they're both kind of very up and down with that. But I feel like Zielinski can offer maybe a slightly more of a goal threat in the Mezzala role than Barella, but he hasn't really shown it yet. Zielinski, has he? Mkhitaryan, of course, undefeated, unbeatable. Darmian returns on the right, which I can understand. Dumfries has played 2 matches back to back. And then up front, this is an interesting. So Lautaro continues. I saw some of you guys calling for Lautaro to be benched because of his recent form. This guy hasn't scored at the San Siro for 8 months in the league. Crazy stat that I couldn't believe when you guys told me in the live stream, and I double checked it, and it's true. But as you guys know, when a player is out of form, We saw it in the past years when Barella was out of form. Did Inzaghi bench him? No, he played his way out of form, into form. Sorry. Lautaro, when the past when he's been out of form, he's not been benched. He's continued playing. MKHITARYAN this season, we saw him at the beginning, continue playing into form. So hopefully, Lautaro continues, gets finally into shape because he's clearly still not fully match fit for some reason. But I'm surprised not to see Taremi here. The next game will be against Venezia, so hopefully either this or the that one, he needs to start Taremi and give Thuram a rest because Thuram has been playing a lot for us. But yeah, regardless of Inzaghi's decision, very, very strong lineup that should get the job done, but I don't think it will be an easy job. It will be another very, very tricky game where I think we will struggle to break this Empoli team down, and I think it will take some form of special goal from someone to break the deadlock. I'm predicting another 1-0 victory just like last year, and I'm predicting Lautaro Martinez coming off his Ballon d'Or trip yesterday with Hakan and Zoma, where he finished 7th, which I have no idea how he finished outside the top 5. Probably should have been top 3 minimum, really, because of the year, the goals, Copa America, Serie A MVP, etc., leading us to the Scudetto in this, the level of talent that was in this Ballon d'Or list. He should have been top 5 at least. But anyway, Hakan made it to the top 20th, and then I think Zoma was 6th in the list. So it's good to see at least some recognition for Inter players, but we know the Serie A rep is just not good enough, not strong enough to push these guys further up. But hopefully, yeah, coming off this trip, remembering how good he was last year, Lautaro pushes him to return back to form and get us the 3 points. You guys let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on this. See you tomorrow. Well, actually, tomorrow post-match, I won't be around. I might have to do a recorded one because I'm playing football at 7 p.m. So I won't be able to watch the full match. I'll have to rewatch it and probably do a quick reaction after my football game tomorrow. But hopefully it'll be a positive one. Keep a look on the channel. Thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Hopefully, new mic has elevated the quality of the videos. Ciao ragazzi. Forza Inter. Let's get the 3 points.